everyone, it is Annie B. Welcome back to my channel. It is Friday. Happy Friday. It's been a long week. I always say that because it's always been a long week. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, don't forget to go ahead and hit the big red subscribe button. So, you know what I found out is the worst thing about being an adult? All of the adulting you have to do. Because as much as you're super excited to grow up, and as much as you're super excited to get out into the world and drink legally and drive, except me, because apparently that's still not legal, and as much as you're excited to do all of that kind of stuff, no one really tells you how to deal with the bills and the taxes and the 401ks and the retirement and the health insurance and all of everything. So I've decided to make a new video series called Adulting with Annie. And I'm just going to talk about things that I kind of found out on my own or through research or as I stepped into the adulting process and grew up and got a job with big girl benefits. So I will present to you Adulting with Annie. And my first thing is something all adults are looking forward to, which is retirement. How sad is this? I'm 26 years old and I'm like, can I retire now? Like, I only have 35 years, 40 years, and then I think about how long it is and I'm depressed. But retirement can be a super complicated thing. And if you're in your early 20s especially, you're probably not thinking about this. You're 21, you're like, whatever, I'm gonna take all my money and I'm gonna spend it, which doesn't work because then you get into debt. Let's not talk about that. That's for another video. But today we're going to talk about retirement and the three kind of main ways to save for retirement. Now, when you retire and you want to move to Florida and condo or live on a cruise ship, I read an article once about a couple that lived on a cruise ship, like, because it was cheaper than a nursing home, so they literally just lived on the cruise ship and people met their every need, which is crazy. Or you want to sail around the world, or you want to travel, or you want to visit your grandkids. If you want to do all of those things one day, you're going to need to have a plan for retirement. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, so let's just start right there. I'm an English major, okay? But I have learned a few things. The first is, what are your sources of income when you retire? The first kind of income source that you can get when you retire is called an annuity. Now, an annuity is, it can either go on forever or it can be a fixed annuity where it's only a certain amount of time, okay? Social Security, which is money that you get from the federal government for working. It's how much you get depends on how much you've worked, what you've made, the time that you've put in. That is considered an annuity. Okay, so almost everyone is guaranteed Social Security, at least at this point, since they haven't run out of money yet. That's money that you pay into, you pay out of your paycheck into Social Security. But generally, even if you do get Social Security, it's very difficult to live on Social Security alone. The other annuity that you get is a pension. If you are lucky, you get a pension. Your pension is what you put into and your employer kind of contributes to, and it pays you out for the rest of your life. Okay, a pension is really, unfortunately, it's old school. So it's really great because you know you're going to have a financial security if you have a pension, but a lot of people's jobs do not offer pensions anymore. If you have a job with a pension, you should probably consider yourself lucky. That's what people used to get. Like, they would go to work for GM, or they would go to work for Chevy. They would work for the car factories. They would go to work for, we live in Buffalo, and in South Buffalo, there is an old steel plant. Everybody used to live down here, used to work at the steel plant, and they were all, you know, putting in money and putting in time towards a pension. You work 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, and then you're guaranteed a payout every single month for the rest of your life, so long as the pension fund has been managed correctly. That's really on your employer. You put into it and your employer does the rest. They deal with the rest. It's certainty, it's stability. But like I said, a lot of jobs don't have a pension anymore. So if you are just out of college and you're getting a job and you don't have a pension, you know there's no pension, what are you supposed to do? We already talked about the fact that it's very hard to live on Social Security alone. What you want to do is have one of these two things. There is either a 401k or an IRA. So a 401k is it's an account where you put in money and then it's invested in stocks and bonds and all kinds of different things, and you can decide where it's invested, and you can choose not to decide. You can let someone else decide how the money is allocated. But basically you put in money and it's supposed to grow. So you'll put in, say, $1,000 now, and in 10 years that $1,000 will double or triple. Okay, so you put in money every paycheck, and then the money is invested so that it can grow for you. The 401k, a lot of employers, especially employers that don't offer a pension, will offer a 401k match. Now, if you're in your early 20s, again, you're not thinking about your 401k, you're not thinking about retirement, you're not thinking about any of that. But if you don't have a pension, you need to be contributing to a 401k, and there are a lot of reasons why you'd want to do that. First of all, sometimes your employer offers a 401k match. That's, say they offer you a dollar for dollar match for the first 4% of your paycheck, or they'll offer you a dollar for dollar match and then a half a dollar match on the next 2%. That means if you don't take that money, you are leaving money on the table. So your employer gives you money in your 401k, but only if you put money in there yourself. And if you leave that, that's a benefit of your job, believe it or not. That's, for me, for example, at my job, I put in 5% of my paycheck, and my job puts in another 4% of my paycheck on their own. Now, if I didn't put any money in there, neither would my job. And then I would have, not only would I have nothing to fall back on when I retired, but I would also be leaving free money on the table. And that can be thousands and thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars even, over the years. That's a lot of money that you're leaving on the table. You can start at 30 or 40 or 50, but if you are in your 20s and you think that you should not be contributing to a retirement, you are wrong. Okay? So you definitely do want to start thinking about that. Once you become employed. Now, the benefit of putting money into a 401k is that you get a tax break. So say, for example, you make $45,000, or I'm sorry, say, for example, you make $50,000 during the year, and you put $5,000 into your 401k. Because you're not spending that money, that $5,000 is not taxable. So you're only being taxed on $45,000. Now, what this means is when you take it out, you have to pay taxes on it. Okay, there's something else you want to know about a 401k. There's a 10% tax penalty if you take the money out before you're 59 and a half. Because really, it's supposed to be meant for you to be saving for your retirement so that you have money to fall back on. And then as you get older, once you hit a certain age, I believe it's 70, don't quote me on that, you have to have annual distributions of at least some of that money. And then when you get the money distributed, again, you have to pay taxes on it then because you didn't pay taxes on it when it came in. So that's one thing. There's a 401k. And if your job does not offer a 401k, or if you are self-employed, an IRA might be right for you instead. That's an individual retirement account. Now that is something that you can have with a bank, say Capital One, or different retirement firms. And all kinds of different places that have these IRAs. They are basically like a 401k, except instead of having the money come automatically out of your paycheck, like just taken, which that's easier, honestly. When you don't see the money coming out of your paycheck, you don't have it to spend. But if you don't have that option, or if you're self-employed, you can put money into an IRA yourself. Now you can still, there is a traditional IRA, which is sort of like a 401k, where you put the money in and you don't have to pay taxes on it until you take it back out. Or there's what's called a Roth IRA. Now a Roth IRA is something, honestly, it's a tax benefit I really can't afford to take advantage of, but a Roth IRA is when you pay the taxes on the money when it goes in, but when it comes out, you don't. And so the benefit there is that you're not paying taxes on the growth. So say you paid taxes, you put $5,000 into a Roth IRA, and over the years it grew up, that just that $5,000 turned into $20,000. Well, you already paid taxes on the $5,000 before you put it in, so you're good. You don't have to pay taxes on what you're taking out, generally. So that's the benefit of a Roth IRA. So a 401k is sort of going to benefit you more as you're younger. And an IRA, if you're doing a Roth IRA where you're having the taxes taken out before you put the money into into the retirement account, that's going to kind of benefit you as you're older because you don't have to pay taxes on that money. That is something that you have to decide what's right for you. Some people's 401ks have a Roth portion where you can put in money that you've already paid taxes on. So depending on your company. The one thing you want to try to avoid if you can is taking money out of a 401k early. Because like I said, not only do you have to pay taxes on it, but there's a 10% penalty. So the government is going to charge you a 10% tax penalty for taking that money out early because it's supposed to be meant for your retirement. If you absolutely need the money and there is no way that you can avoid taking it out, see if your job will let you take a loan out against your 401k. That way, as you pay it back throughout the year, so you're just paying back yourself. Now, there's a couple of drawbacks to taking money out of a 401k as a loan, okay? And the main one is that if I take out $5,000 now and it takes me 5 years to pay that money back, which that's the longest time you have to pay back your loan. Otherwise, whatever you don't pay back from the loan just becomes taxable income for you. But if you don't pay that money back until 5 years from now, that's 5 years that $5,000 could have been growing for you and working for you in your investments. Okay, so basically, all of this to say, no matter what you have, if you decide that you need a 401k, do not leave your employer's money on the table. Do not ever, ever, ever leave money on the table. I don't care what you have to scrimp and scrape to do not leave that money on the table because that is money that they owe you. That's a benefit that you have to your job. And I mean, if I left a $20 bill on the table, would I just walk away from it? I think not. So make sure you're never leaving employer match money on the table. But basically, my whole point of this video is whether you decide to do a 401k, whether you decide to do an IRA, whether you have a pension and Social Security, make sure you have something besides just Social Security to fall back on because you honestly never know. Social Security is very hard to live on by itself because it's not a ton of money. It's going to be a downgrade from the income that you're making while you're working. It's not going to be the same amount that you're used to. You want to have something to supplement it always. Okay, so basically that's all I have for today. So that's Adulting with Annie. So 401ks, IRAs. I'm not going to tell you where to invest and how to manage your money. You can do high risk investments. You can do low risk investments. Me right now, I have mine in a fund where they kind of, because my retirement date is far away, they're doing a little bit more high risk investing. And when you do high risk investments, the reason that people do it, even though they could lose money, is because they can make a lot of money as well. So if you do a low risk investment, you only make a low amount of money, but you're pretty much guaranteed to never lose it. And a high risk is the opposite. You can make a big amount of money, but you also stand to lose a decent amount of money. So the way that my money is allocated right now, it's a little bit riskier right now, and as I get closer to retirement, the investments become more and more conservative. And as that happens, that way I know that I'll have the money for my retirement. Now, I'm not going to tell you what to invest in because that's not my thing. I'm not a stocks and bonds person. That's why I have my money in a fund where someone else can figure that out. But no matter what you do, if you have taken nothing away from this video, please take away the fact that you need to do something for your retirement. As soon as you got your first big girl job or your first self-employment where you're really making some decent money, make sure that you start planning for your retirement because it's not planning for some far off. It is. It's far away. It seems so easy to just forget it. You know, again, don't take out a loan if you don't have to. I actually, have had to take out a loan before. If you can avoid it, don't take a loan out against your retirement. But no matter what you do, just make sure that you have one. Whether your employer is going to do it for you or whether you're going to do it for yourself, do not let yourself become that person at, 65 that's getting ready to retire and has nothing to retire on. So that's it. I don't want to lecture or preach or anything else. I just kind of want to make sure that you know, because those are things that I didn't so much know when I first started out. I started Googling to see what was going on, and I actually had someone say to me, hey, make sure you up your money in your 401k because your job, we're matching it. The employer is matching it. So whatever the case may be, no matter what you do, please just make sure that you have something planned for retirement so that you're not left hanging. That is all I have for you guys right now. I know it's not my typical video, but if you have anything you want to see in an Adulting with Annie series, I'm going to do videos about credits, because I've learned a lot over the last 5 years about credit and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to be doing a lot of those little Adulting with Annie things and just things that are nice to know and things that I kind of had to find out myself. Sometimes the hard way, sometimes not. And if you can avoid finding out things the hard way, especially when it comes to your money, you want to. So that is all I have for you guys today. If you have any comments, drop them below. I hope that you found this video helpful. Make sure you give it a big thumbs up if you liked it, and if you didn't like it, thumbs up anyway, okay, because you like me. I've decided. Anyway, I hope that you liked the video. Make sure that you subscribe to me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Make sure that you drop any suggestions for any adulting topics that you would like me to cover in this video series. And that's all I have for you guys. Happy Friday. Bye.